The criminality of Trump is frankly so intense and so severe that people tend to forget or not know certain elements of that criminality, even when it's happening in real time. Okay? So let me show you this here. Here's Trump talking right now about what's going on with Cuba, what the U.S. is doing to Cuba. So listen to this. Here he is on Air Force One. This is what he says.
You're warning Cuba to make a deal. What does that deal look like? What do you want them to do?
Cuba is right now a failed nation. They don't even have jet fuel to get for airplanes to take off there.
Why do they not have jet fuel, Don? Why do they not have jet fuel? Why don't you tell us why they don't have jet fuel? What's the reason as to why they weren't able to get jet fuel? Please tell us. Please enlighten us. My guess is you're not going to.
We're talking to Cuba right now. I have Marco Rubio talking to Cuba right now, and they should absolutely make a deal.
By the way, that's a lie. Dropside News reported on this. Marco Rubio is telling Trump, "Oh, yes, sir, I am currently negotiating and talking to people in Cuba. We sure are trying to make a deal, sir. That's what we're doing." Total lie. Not true at all. He's not talking to them at all. There's no line of communication open, but he's going back to Trump and he's saying, "Sir, they sure are being obstinate. They sure are telling us to go fuck ourselves. I think maybe we need to show them who's boss and maybe do a regime change, sir." So yet again, he's delegating, and he's being played like a fucking fiddle in the same way Russ Vought played him like a fiddle, Elon Musk played him like a fiddle, Stephen Miller played him like a fiddle. He told Stephen Miller, don't raid that South Korean car plant in, what was it, Georgia or South Carolina? And he did it. And then Trump goes, I wasn't in favor of this. What happened? Well, Stephen Miller is not even listening to you when you tell him, don't do X or Y. He's not listening. He's running the shit. He's a shadow president. And so here's Marco Rubio, same shit. He's going, I want to fucking do regime change in Cuba. I don't want to make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm not okay with them existing independently. We need a puppet government in there, and we need to make Cuba the billionaire pedophile sadist playground just like it was before Castro's revolution. That's what he wants to do. And so here's Trump being played like a fool, played like a fiddle yet again.
And they should absolutely make a deal because it's really a humanitarian threat. And we have a lot of great Cuban Americans, and they're going to be very happy when they're going to be able to go back and say hello to their relatives and do things that they should have been allowed to do for a long time. I'm very interested in the people that are here that were treated so badly by Castro and the Cuban authorities. They have been treated horribly. So we'll see how it all turns out. But Cuba and us, we are talking. In the meantime, there's an embargo. There's no oil. There's no money. There's no anything.
There's an embargo, there's no money, there's no oil, there's no anything, is what he said.
There's an embargo, there's no oil, there's no money, there's no anything.
If a deal isn't made, would you...
We're going to talk about this more in just a second. He's literally bragging about committing a crime, about doing a medieval siege and not allowing anything in or out of the country, which is starving the fucking country to death and trying to make it collapse, not caring about the humanitarian toll of the innocent families that get destroyed because he wants to play Mr. Tough Guy.
Consider an operation like the one in Venezuela?
I don't want to answer that. Why would I answer that?
In other words, they're asking, so are you going to do like a Venezuela-style fucking, shoot 'em up military-style raid where you carpet bomb Havana and you kidnap the leader? Are you going to do something like that? I don't want to answer that. Why would I want to answer that?
I don't want to answer that. Why would I answer that? If I was, it wouldn't be a very tough operation, as you can figure. But I don't think that'll be necessary.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So here he is on Air Force One, yet again, bragging about his depravity, bragging about starving a country to death, which is what he's doing, cutting off all the oil from getting into that country. Can't run shit. The economy can't function. People can't work. People can't eat. This is the goal. This is what happens when you have a regime that doesn't care about international law. They don't care about human rights. They don't care about justice. They don't care about innocent people. They don't care. Donald Trump is a servant of the Epstein class. He's the Epstein class bitch boy, okay? He's the head of the snake when it comes to the elite pedophile cabal that actually runs the world. And this is what they're doing now. In the same way, they illegally kidnapped Maduro and stole all the oil money from Venezuela, and it went into a personal account with Trump's name on it in fucking Qatar. In the same way they did that, now they're planning it for Cuba too. And now they're in the midst of doing it and starving them to death. I want you to stop and imagine for 1 second, you lived in that country, and that was you, or that was your family, or that was your best friend, right? Can you imagine a scenario where we're being choked out? No fuel is coming in this country whatsoever. The economy can't run. People can't eat. And we're just being slowly choked out, slowly being choked to death. Imagine how you would feel. Imagine what you would do in a scenario like that. The other thing that's massively ironic, of course, is that we're anti-immigration. That's what we're anti-immigration, which is why we're causing a humanitarian crisis in Venezuela, which will lead to more refugees coming over here. And we're also doing the same in Cuba, which will lead to even more refugees coming here. So here we're tough on immigration. Laying the groundwork to have another massive flow of refugees coming to the country, because where the fuck are they supposed to go? You're starving them to death when they're home. Let me show you this, guys. This is kind of crazy. Dropsite says, trash is piling up on the streets of Havana as garbage collection slows sharply because most city trucks are out of fuel after U.S. efforts to block oil shipments to Cuba, Reuters reports. Only about 44 of 106 trucks are operating, leaving heaps of waste, swarms of flies, and rising health concerns. Cuba's oil supply has collapsed following cutoffs from Venezuela and Mexico under U.S. pressure, worsening chronic shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. So, you had Claudia Sheinbaum try to do the right thing, sent a bunch of boats, tried to help, but of course Trump is now blocking them even from doing the right thing here. And so this is the result here. Watch this. See all that trash piling up everywhere? Jesus Christ. All of the virtue signaling from Trump where he pretended like he's anti-war and J.D. Vance pretended like he was anti-war and they were sharing the memes of the pro-peace ticket and it has Trump and Vance standing there smugly looking like, yes, we're going to save the day, no new wars. Now, since that, how many countries has he bombed? You would be better off listing the countries they haven't bombed. It would be quicker to name the countries they haven't bombed. Because they bombed Somalia, they bombed Nigeria, they bombed Yemen, they bombed Iran, they did an illegal regime change in Venezuela, they're threatening Panama, they're threatening Greenland, they're threatening Canada, they're threatening Mexico, and they fucking, look, don't ever be lulled into thinking they don't mean it. They fucking mean it. They fucking mean it, okay? And it's already gone way, way too far. We need impeachment. If you can't get that, we need the 25th Amendment. We need him out of power. We need him to be investigated, indicted, convicted. I mean, the endless list of high crimes and misdemeanors. It is impossible to even keep up. And this is a guy who was already officially charged with 91 crimes. He was convicted of 34 felonies. That is child's play, considering how many crimes he actually committed on a regular basis. And by the way, this happened yesterday. I think they killed another 11 people. Now the number of people murdered in the Caribbean is about 144. They are wantonly, brazenly, nonchalantly massacring fishermen and then bragging about it and pretending like we're stopping narco-terrorists, bro. A word that I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Narco-terrorists. What are you, strapping on a suicide vest and blowing yourself up for cocaine? No, it's not a thing. There's narco-traffickers. That's a low-level crime. You seize the boat, you seize the drugs, you arrest them, you give them their day in court. But no, they are murdering people who are randos, who are fishermen. Maybe a handful of them are smuggling drugs, but not many. And we learned that some of the ones they killed, it was marijuana they were smuggling, which is legal in the majority of states in this country. And they weren't even trafficking it to this country. They were trafficking it elsewhere. They were going in the wrong direction, the direction opposite the United States of America. Okay, you need to refuel these little dinghy boats over 20 times just to get it to the U.S. They are lying day in and day out, and they're still murdering people on the seas. They're still doing it. And so this is what happens when there is no more rule of law, when you give them a little bit of leeway. You give the fascist and the imperialist an inch, and they will take a mile. That's how it works. And now we're on mile 8,312 of them getting away with it and doing more and more depraved, disgusting stuff. This is a man who's incapable of putting himself in the shoes of the other. He's incapable of thinking of the innocent men, women, and children in Cuba and what they're dealing with right now. He's got to go. He's got to go. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.